Lit Happens Prince Albert. I'm Kara Stelmaschuk. Joining me today is Arlette Laird, and Arlette Laird is the author of some gardening books. So that's something a little bit different, but what a great time of year for this particular kind of book. Welcome to the show, Arlette. Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that
Get
too.
me out of the house on a rainy day.
Hey, rain is good because we're here to talk about plants. So let's talk about your first book, The Joy of Planting. So what brought this book out in you?
I was working in a greenhouse and people were asking the same questions over and over again. And I thought, well, I'm repeating myself here. And I had the opportunity to do it because I worked at Par Industries and they were very supportive. I made up 101 pots, actually more than that, but I chose 101 and I wrote them up as recipe books. So there you go.
Oh, they even have food names.
Yes, this is Saucy Snaps, and it gives a bit of a description of what they're going to do. And then there's the ingredients list. The suggested serving gives you the size of the pot. The temperature is whether you should put it in sun or part shade or in a really dark spot. And then there's a little picture of where to place the pots. And then at serving time, deadhead as desired. So needless to say, I had lots of fun.
That's really fun. Oh, what a different way to put a book like this together. That's amazing.
Well, I had some chapters already, as well. I have the incredible edibles. Well, that's, plants that you can eat, of course.
It's really big right now.
Yes, it is. It is. And then there's quality control, is pest prevention and fertilizing and this kind of stuff. And cooking secrets are just little tips that you can use, like deadheading, like what now? Watering, how to water.
That's good.
That's a big mystery for a lot of people, including myself when I started growing. So filling, planting, another big mystery is fertilizing. So these were all questions that people would ask me. They would also ask me, well, what can I put with this begonia? It's just beautiful. Well, don't put portulaca in, like some people would love to do, because portulaca is going to dry up and, it's going to be in the shade, so it's going to get some disease from too much water, so you can't put them together. So that's why I wrote this. I thought it would be something a lot of fun to do. And it was a lot of fun, and it's still a lot of fun.
So you worked in a greenhouse, you had this knowledge, people came and they all seemed to have the same questions. Where does your knowledge come from? Why do you know just so much more than the people that came into the greenhouse?
Pure luck. Well, I shouldn't say that. I actually worked with my future mother-in-law at the time, and she worked in a greenhouse, and I thought, well, that might be fun. I went to visit her and she gave me a plant that I killed right away. And so that was my decision that I really needed to go and work there. And I did. And then I learned. It was Frank Moore's greenhouse. I hate to say how long ago it was. It was a fair little while ago. And it was such a great experience. It was a dirt floor and it was very rustic. And that's the way greenhouses were at the time, very earthy. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I liked every single aspect of it. I enjoyed transplanting, I enjoyed selling, I enjoyed the cleanup after, delivery. I just enjoyed everything. So then I went on to Par Industries. And it's experience. I got the knowledge through experience. So it was the hard way, you could say, because it's much better if you can go and learn at school or with, I don't know. Well, working, the experience was great. I enjoyed it a lot. So I didn't inherit it, I worked for it.
That was going to be my exact next question. So did you do a lot of gardening as a child, helping the grandparents or the parents or anything like that?
No.
Not at all, hey?
Well, actually, my first 11 years were spent on the farm. And my grandmother lived just across the road. And in those days, now we're talking about the 60s, it was, when you were a farmer, you were growing food. And flowers was a bit frivolous for most farmers. So they would have marigolds along the garden somewhere, and that's it. But my grandma started her own seeds. She had snapdragons, and she had pansies, and always row upon row of gladiolas. The snapdragons I thought were just incredible. And she had fuchsia. I don't know where she got that from. Really, fuchsia. And I admired her a lot. So if I got a green thumb, it might be from her. Apparently my thumb is a little bit like hers.
Excellent. So obviously it wasn't just people coming to the greenhouse that required the information, because this book, it did not bad. From what I understand, it made a bestsellers list?
Yes, it did.
And which list was that?
Well, it becomes, if you sell more than 5,000 books, it becomes a national bestseller. So in the first year, I sold more than 5,000 books. So we had to do another printing, so that was good. Then it really encouraged me to get the second book going. I wanted a yellow book, and I got a yellow book, and see, the marigolds are on there. It looks like a field of marigolds. I love that picture, and it never got into the first book. So this one is the book I really wished I would have had when I started at the greenhouse, because it tells you when to seed things, what temperature. You might get something like impatiens. Impatiens really like to have even heat. Portulaca likes it really hot. And then petunias like it really cold. Well, unless you know those things, you may not have as good success. And I've had some wonderful, wonderful experiences through this. 2 women have started greenhouses after going to a talk and buying my book. And they started greenhouses, which I thought was astounding, but that's the kind of thing that makes all the work and the energy so worth it.
Of course, that's not the goal, but hey, that's really, really neat at the end.
Yeah, it's just, that's all the extras that I get. And also something that you might consider not a compliment, a lady that said, you know, I don't read very well, and I could read your book. And I thought that was great.
Actually, I have a quote about that. I read it online, and it said kind of a across the fence chatty style of narrative, something to that effect. That's a great compliment.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it is.
Friendly. I'm here talking to you, but apparently even just from reading the book, people can tell that it's easy to understand. I'm going to really explain it the way it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to go over people's heads, and I wanted people to have a good time, because I have a good time doing it, and I have a good time planting stuff and making them grow.
Yeah, well, people hear the word horticulture, and then they start throwing the real like Latin names at you, and it's like, no, I'm going to stop listening. I know what a petunia is. Anything with more syllables than that is just like, I don't know what's going on.
And I like the Latin names.
No, and of course you have the extra knowledge, but.
Well, it's just Mr. Bruman was a school teacher, and he owned, he was part owner of the Frankmore greenhouse at that time. And he was a botanist, so he was big on that. You learn the Latin name, and then when you go to a nursery and you say, well, I want an apple tree, which apple tree do you want? Do you want a crab apple? Do you want a chokecherry tree? Is the same family, so what exactly is it that you want, and what variety is it that you want? And so I really go for the Latin names.
There's a lot in the words, absolutely.
Doesn't mean I know them.
And that's okay, because it's all right, because this is like the second book is growing from scratch. So we're gonna steal a little bit of your practical knowledge now. We're gonna ask for some free advice. So for people in our region, annuals that you would suggest for Prince Albertan area?
Well, you know, if you're a beginner, you can always do petunias. You can put them just about anywhere and they're going to do just fine. Grow what you really love, but don't grow anything that's going to give you a headache the first year. You know, you want to have some success. So unless you have a really good spot, I wouldn't go for a fuchsia. But if you have a nice tree and you stick it there and you kind of leave it alone, it could do well for you. I don't know. You know, just go for it. Give it a shot. There's so many beautiful things out there. Go to a place like Betty's where there's a lot of knowledge. I mean, talk about somebody that it's not Betty's anymore. It's Braden's Greenhouse. Okay. Usually at Brace, there's somebody that can help you out. So if you go to the local greenhouses, you're going to have somebody there that's a grower. There has to be, and they'll be able to help you out.
Excellent. So when it comes to plants, do you like gardening as well, or are you kind of a flower girl?
I like gardening.
You do?
Yeah, last year I put in a whole bunch of basil. What I did is I went to Superstore and I bought one of those pots that you're maybe supposed to cut off and use.
Right.
Well, I transplanted them in my garden. And then in the fall, before fall, when they were all really, really nice, then I cut them all off and I made a big batch of pesto. And I've been eating it all winter long because you can freeze it, right? Yeah. It's great. So I like doing herbs. I like doing peas that I can go in and eat off the vine. Yeah. Broccoli, and I like to freeze it. So I like to do just small batches. I'm not a hard worker.
They're work. Gardens are a lot of work.
I do raised gardens and it's a lot less work.
Nice.
It's a lot less work. Nice. Go hard on raised gardens, absolutely. You get good success with that.
So your 2 books, when you started writing them, did you have a very clear, concise idea what they were going to be when they were done, or was it kind of a labor of love putting the ideas together as they came?
I knew exactly what I wanted to do, yes. I did. I wanted it to look like a cookbook. I wanted it to also, well, look like a cookbook.
It does.
You know,
like
I would like the next one to be pink, if ever there was another one. I knew the recipes. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with that. And then what I did is I have cookbooks at home that I really, really like. I had a Betty Crocker cookbook cooking for two, and I used those chapter headings because that was a good cookbook for me. So it sounds kind of kooky, but so I knew exactly what I wanted.
Excellent. That's rare. That's very rare. But they sound like really fun books. I look forward to reading them myself. And if people watching right now would like to find your books, where can they get a copy or both copies?
Brace will have them.
Okay.
And you can give me a call. 764-2413. There you go. And the library, there's books at the library. You can go and borrow them, and then you don't have to buy them. And take a look at it, and if you like it, well, give me a call. Go up to Braze. So that's a main spot for me.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming, Arlette. We really appreciate all the knowledge.
It was fun.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning into Lit Happens Prince Albert. If you'd like to watch any more episodes, you can tune into shawtv.ca online.